and welcome to the 1%ers Performance Podcast, coming to you from Combermary and Gadigal country in Australia. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging, and we acknowledge the First Nations people of these lands. This is the podcast exploring how small changes make a big impact. I'm Mario Buchs, and together with my co-host Tim Buxton, we'll discover the unseen edges of peak performance to help athletes, teams and leaders unlock their exponential growth. And now, it's time to dive in and find the 1% that changes everything.
What did it feel like when we finished each day? And, you know, I can just hear Mario's like, okay, we've got to get rest and refuel, but then we're being pulled into a massive hall, greeted by the mayor of the town into their government buildings, and they want to offer us, thankfully, coffee, espresso, which was at least ticked that box. You know, if we're going to come into this meeting and you're going to delay us from going to lunch, at least give us some caffeine and some.
Yeah, correct.
But yeah, like there we were being ushered in, like welcomed so hospitably, but yet all these other engagements that were obviously really important for us to participate in. How did that was an element of I guess
I felt sorry for them. I mean,
yeah.
I must have stunk. I know how I smell when after a normal run, let alone 5.5 hours in 35 to 2 degree heat. Luckily, I had my little run-ready foot pack on me with some wipes and stuff and
Yes.
slippers, so we were able to just at least clean our feet, because that's a big thing in that world anyway. The whole Middle East, clean feet is something I've always admired when I was in Turkey and Syria and North Africa. Nobody has smelly feet. They look after the feet, you know, in that heat. We were the smelliest people around by far. Yeah, I felt a bit, but yeah, you're right. The pinnacle of getting a espresso with a hint of chocolate even, that was fantastic, you know. And yeah, I didn't count, but I guess there was 32 people in that room. Head of police, you know, head of military, the whole area, obviously the mayor with all his underlings. He came in, he had a few minutes. And then the next day we had the university in Soran, same scenario. There at least we got a quick feed in the canteen of the university. So all the students must have thought, what the hell, where's that smell coming from? And they were all pointing in the direction of us and not the kebab stand. So we got a quick feed, went into the auditorium, and we were allowed to talk about what we were doing there. So yeah, that brings such a beautiful element to the whole. As unpleasant as it may have been in the moment, like you said, we needed food immediately. We did get, most times we weren't too bad. I mean, even on the last day, we were rushed to get a meal. I mean, on day 3, we had 2 meals. We had the meal in the university, and then like 2 hours later, we were in a big restaurant again and got another feed, you know. So fantastic.
Yeah, it was a beautiful kind of layer to it, and I think it made it feel raw. And I think what it was about too, this wasn't about just trying to do some athletic achievement of completing an ultra and I was just always amazed at how again, testimony to the team, just going with the flow. Like, okay, we've got to get to this university appointment, but we've finished in this town of Khalifan, which is still 20, 30 kilometers out from where we need to be now. And there's reporters that have come on. And so doing a few interviews there while still wanting to just leave, but honor their requests and balancing all of that. At the end of the day, I mean, to allow them to be hospitable and show their acceptance and welcome of us, and to also kind of be there, let them know this is actually about them and how amazing they are as a people and they are as a region as well. This wasn't about us either, and being able to, I guess, both share that and say that and draw attention to that, and also kind of, I guess, model it. You can say it all, but if your actions when you're there are opposite, then there's incongruency there. So I really appreciated there was that element to it as well.
There's one thing that's very important, I think. These people didn't understand what we were doing. None of them have ever run what we did. So they don't have that understanding and appreciation is maybe the wrong word, but if you don't know how that is, if they would have also been runners, they would have treated us completely different. You know, they would have come with whatever, chocolate milks and whatever else,
Yeah.
but they didn't know. So for them, it's just, yeah, these idiots ran good, but they don't. And this is what we understood as well immediately. We understood that they don't understand what we've just done, right? Of course, our bodies were hot and we needed more than just Coca-Cola and water and Fanta and Sprite. We needed kind of, especially some protein back in. But luckily, and this is important to mention as well, because I'm a little bit of a geek, luckily we were all males and we can kind of handle that a little bit better. If we would have had females on the team, it would have been a little bit of a different story, because after such a crazy run, it's quite important to understand that females need a refeed very soon. That window is a lot shorter than ours. I mean, look, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm studying it at the moment, but there's a 20 to 30-minute window, whereas us blokes, we have that 2-hour period where we can still kind of just carry on. So that's important to understand. Looking ahead, if we would do this again, we can obviously sort ourselves out a little bit better. So, but yeah, everything was unknown. Every day was unknown. Yeah, we had a meeting at the university. What exactly was going to happen? We didn't know. Suddenly, like you said, you happened. Charlie were being interviewed by a TV station, and at the same time, they wanted us to be in the big auditorium with all the university staff and students. The dean of the university was there, and your old friends were there. People that helped you build these refugee sites and the schools and stuff. So it wasn't just a reunion; it was big, and you can't even put that in words. What happened on that exact day at the university? It's nuts. It's like putting up the biggest smoothie together that you can think of and just put it all in and then hope for the best with the outcome, when you drink it. That's how it felt for me. For you, I was watching you and it was like all the people you knew, people you didn't know, crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
just mind blowing.
Yeah, I think once we got past day 3, like you said, the final day did become the dance. It became the Champs-Élysées, the final formality. Even though it was hard in terrain wise, we were greeted with some, I think, the best weather in terms of a lot more shelter and shade through the canyon and the gorge that we ran, and then even though it was quite a climb up and out of Rowan Doos, that town, that canyon city, we clocked our fastest marathon on that final day, and it felt pretty surreal to run into the center of town, to see my friend in his car, my best friend rocking up without realizing it, seeing me and driving past at the same time, to not even find our way, how could we find our way into the stadium where we were finishing, which we ended up finishing in this small little AstroTurf grass stadium. But then the reason why they weren't ready for us is we'd run ahead of schedule and got there about half an hour earlier than we had anticipated, and no one wants to be hanging around for 30 minutes in the hot sun. They were going to arrive right on time to be out there as little time in the sun as possible. But it was euphoric, that finish, and I think the body, one of the things that I was fighting on that final day was rhabdo, right? It's a condition where the skeletal muscles, the lining of your skeletal muscles, start to deteriorate and to enter into your urine, your
Stream, yeah.
your bloodstream, and I was literally pissing blood for the whole day. I mean, it was pretty bad the day before, but day 4 it was pure. Like there was little pee at all. It was purely just blood coming out. So that was another kind of, I guess, challenge to navigate, because we were, it started pretty quickly. And yeah, what were your thoughts around that? Like, were there anything?
Oh, in a race, you get pulled.
Yeah,
So in a race, the medic will pull you.
yeah,
but we didn't have that options. I mean, we did have our conversation.
I mean, the thing
And
is, I felt good in
yeah,
terms
and
of
that's
I
what put
felt
me. Yeah.
like in other areas, but I was just constantly busting to go to the toilet,
And you can't
constantly.
fix that, right? You cannot fix that in 5 minutes. This is the problem. People are in hospital for 2, 3 days with that, after a race. So
Yeah.
there's hot races out there like Western States and other hot races, but that's the most famous one. People do get it. Even the professionals get it because they're they're at their limit. And we were at our limit. How well did we recover after each day? We definitely never replenished what we lost. So
No.
at the end of the day, everything we sweat out and all the the calories we tried to consume, it never made up for the day. So as it comes to day 4, you're at a sodium level which is probably very low. Yeah, it's just a culmination of a lot of things coming together. But
I was struggling to even after the run in the afternoon to drink anything that had some kind of additive to it. Like pure water was pretty much all I could really stomach as well. And that was kind of a challenge too, because I knew I needed to replenish a lot of sodium, and I was being able to pop pills, and that was easier, but anything that had fluid to consume was really a lot challenging.
we tried everything. So, but it
Um,
happens. But we got through, as a
it,
team.
it gave me an incredible respect for you, Mario. You didn't struggle physically, nowhere near as much as I did. It showed me that this kind of to be an elite and to be an endurance athlete, um, it takes multiple times of doing this, of putting your body through this, through it, not only mentally, but physically. The body has memory, and the mind has obviously cognitive memory, but the body has cellular memory. And it gave me an incredible respect for your endurance, your resilience, your body's, your attunement to your body as well, and what it needs, and how to manage in an ultra, in a run, to then see you come back to Australia and after just a couple of days be back on a hard training schedule for your upcoming Coast to Cozzy, notching over 250 kilometers in this upcoming epic run that you're embarking on in November. So it's pretty, yeah, you know, I felt like a lightweight compared to you. And you know, I mean, I can only put it down to your experience and you're a well seasoned athlete in this. Is there anything else that like what made me struggle so much, mate? I mean, and in some ways, we've highlighted a couple of things. I felt like I could have run faster, but I knew I needed to keep within myself for a lot of these days, apart from the first day, which really I probably ran too fast early on, probably with all the adrenaline and excitement and all of that was going on. But yeah, is there any reason why you think I struggled or
Look, from what I saw, you definitely drank enough. You could have been low on sodium, hyponatremia they call that, I think.
Yeah.
But look, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medic. I can't, issue statements like that. I'm just umming and ahhing on it. Obviously, you got yourself into a bad place on day 1 with a couple of simple mistakes. I really
I
try.
realized I took ADHD medication that morning. I don't know if I told you that as
You
well.
did, yeah.
And
And
that
the
dehydrates
pre-workout
you.
during the
That
day, yeah.
and the pre-workout drink, which
So on
a
one hand,
couple
you're
of
trying to,
chemical things that are
yes, you're
concoction of.
counteracting it. Yeah. I mean, how much that thing's got more caffeine than I have in a drink in a week. And you had that in like a 3-hour period. So that's definitely, but that's, that will get out of the system depending on what food you have in you, whatever you've eaten. It takes 24, 48, 72 hours to get that out of the system. But, in all honesty, as much as you now may think that there's a lot that went wrong. I can tell you that now. And I tell this to my friends and my running friends that have followed along. And I said, I'll tell you something, guys. I know ultra runners, seasoned ultra runners, who would have pulled the pin, who would have gone through what you've gone through. So, of course, there's always something to learn, and I have something to learn. And my job was to get you and Callum and whoever was running through. That was my job. So that took complete the spotlight away from what I was doing. There was never a discussion in my own mind that I'm going to struggle. Because I'm a stubborn old bastard, whatever you want to call me, Gandalf.
Gandalf the Grey.
Stubborn old bastard where I'm like, this is not about me. I will not suffer. Of course it was hot. Of course I needed to drink and eat and recover and all that kind of stuff. But for me, it was never. And that took pressure off my own physical challenge in a way, but it put added pressure on saying, hey, we need to get through. And if I start to struggle, we're in the shit. And that's definitely not what's going to happen. So I had a responsibility to really look after myself wherever I could. If I was slightly hot, I'm used to running in the heat. I'm okay. I'm kind of experienced. My body, I know we stayed cool. Well, that's me saying it now. And tomorrow night, I'm going to go for a run at 5 o'clock and I'm going to absolutely die. But that's normal. That's just jinxing it. Look, your words are very kind and I fully appreciate that. And I got humbled by it all. But don't put yourself down in any way. What you did then, what you got through. I've never, ever pissed blood in my life in a run, ever. So I can't even tell you that's how much it hurts or what. I don't know. You have to tell me. I've only thrown up a handful of times, not often. I'm quite lucky. I usually undereat. That was my problem. Now I'm okay. I'm on a level now where hopefully you will, all going well, you will be part of my crew at Coast to Cozy and you can see what's getting eaten and drunk and maybe that'll give you a bit of an insight on how the guys feed me and how much it takes to because there the plan is to do 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes I eat and drink something, That's a lot. It sounds like a lot, but to get through a 30+ hour adventure, if you stop eating after 15 hours, and I know people who've done that, to come back from that is so hard, So, but your mental strength is amazing. You're made for this as much as you don't want to hear it. Even Callum said it. There's an ultra runner in the making here. And yeah.
Look, I again respect to Callum who didn't complain once and was definitely pushed beyond his limits and what he'd done before, but I think he'd run an ultra before, and I know that I've seen anybody that's done it. You're in elite company. You've there's some incredible takes incredible character. It takes incredible physical strength. It takes so much resilience to complete and again, huge respect to everybody that played their role and got us across the line. And shout out to, I think, everyone that followed along. We had lots of sponsors. We had lots of people sending messages, lots of people that donated and gave and deep down that, to have raised almost $50,000. And we've not given up. We really are wanting to get help. We want to reach our goal of $100,000, even though the run is over. The job of what this is all about is still got a purpose bigger than just a run. It's about a movement and a message out there. And so many of you have been a part of that. You listened, or you followed along, and I think, every single little bit, every moment, you have no idea when you finally see someone that actually gave, and it doesn't matter how much it was like, oh, that person was thinking of me. That person is cheering me on with their time, their money, their energy. And it just, it really encouraged us. And it was so fun to just be part of something so wonderful and so great. I think that's probably what I miss the most, of just like, these are the fun things that we'd spend a lot of energy and time to, and being in that, in that crazy, wild middle of it, sitting in the back of pickup trucks and cruising down this crazy road in the middle of Iraq, and you're like, "What are we doing?" You know, it's that kind of it felt so like this is what it means to be a great adventure, you know?
Absolutely. That's what I needed. I got grounded, which is great. It's what I needed. Switch off, all the little problems at home stayed at home and at work and whatever. The live feeds were great. Troy is an absolute natural.
Yes.
I know so many people who just loved him, like the way he did it so naturally. In awe of your young son, who's now 13.
Yeah.
People were asking, says, how far did he run? He says, he ran 55 Ks, people. No excuses. He didn't always feel like it. He had
No.
his little he had his little moments, never complained once in a 2-week period. Amazing. I mean, just shows what kind of parenting you and Sarah are doing. Fantastic. Never complained once. When he was tired, he just slept. He didn't complain. He was tired and just fantastic. Kitali, Isan, Matt, hey man. Yeah. The key to all locked doors, if you want to go through any military post, is definitely guys like, hey man,
Mm,
we just ran through the checkpoints. We got
mm,
away from the soldier and you guys are idiots, carry on, right? It's like, yeah, it showed over the next weekend that it was harder than one thought, this whole organizing with local
mm,
services and stuff. So, hats off to all the people in the background, but you're absolutely right. So many people
mm,
followed this. I'm still getting donations from people I didn't even think were following,
mm,
who actually probably now after this had to go and look for the link, which is
mm,
fantastic. That means,
mm.
yeah, I'm proud of what we did as a team, as humans.
Mm.
Yeah, it's
You're
good.
right.
It's good.
There was so much behind the scenes, like you said, the work leading up to it, the preparation. I know our team, preparing getting all the equipment together, and at night making sure batteries were charged. Heyman and Isan weeks before getting all the permissions and the letters and setting up all the meetings and coordinating everything on the fly. That's the stuff that no one talked about. No one said, "Oh, this is what I'm doing." Or they just did it when they knew they could do it and got it done, didn't complain. Incredible. And I think makes me want to do more of this kind of stuff. It makes me want to figure out ways to get more people involved in these kinds of what we called humanitarian ultras. And I think the more we kind of develop this idea of a humanitarian ultra where it's not just let's put a stamp on and I'm, on a marathon run and say you're running for charity. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about really the effort and energy that it takes to really design something that really does more than virtual signaling or tokenistic kind of efforts, but it really gives you an immersive experience into what it's like to test your endurance. And I think the the inspiration of those that have gone before us and done it not for fun, for to save and rescue their lives and for the lives of those that they love the most. I mean, those are the true heroes, and those are the ones that it's always wonderful to point to. What we endured was nothing compared to not only what they endured, but the journey that they're continuing to be on as they rebuild their lives with such resilience and heroism.
Yep, totally correct. That's in closing, that's what went through my head as well when it got a little bit hard. Like, I'm done in a few hours. These guys didn't know when they were done. That's the other thing, right? We knew we had an end point every day. So my watch
Some of
told
them,
me how long we had to go.
yeah. Some of them still aren't done. We visited a refugee camp in Hook, young children who were born into a refugee camp whose parents fled. There's no end in sight for them. They're not living in great conditions with access to a wonderful school. They don't even know whether the school's going to be open or what program they might even have for them. And they're lucky if they've got a both parents still,
Yeah, I was just
so
going to say some of them are orphans or half orphans as well. Yeah, correct. All they know is a tent
yeah.
all their life. They've never seen the outside world, probably. Yeah.
And this is and let's be honest, this is the reality for over 130 million people and rising, because we, you know, quite largely don't know how to get along, and we don't know how to solve our differences with a bit of common sense and human decency. And so this is why it makes it so important that we highlight, like, the true victims of this are not innocent children, families, and so much needs to be done. And hopefully we can, we'll have an opportunity to continue to tell this story, not only as we've unpacked the run a little bit from you, as it's kind of come, it's still fresh in our minds, but as we visit it through our upcoming documentary that we're creating, we've got VR experience that we're going to create that'll go into schools. I'm so excited that, and that's what I guess is, that's what's to come next. This is only just the beginning. If you're listening and you want to have us on your podcast to talk about what we did, or if you want to have Mario, myself speak or share, we would love nothing more than the opportunity to talk about this. Again, this isn't about an event, it's about a movement. It's about inviting people into something wonderful and exciting as we go forward. So shout out to anybody who would be interested in having us on. We'd be more than happy. So reach out to us, shoot us an email, however that might be.
Yep. And Top Dot Coach is alive, people,
Yes.
and kicking, boogieing every day. Excellent, Tim. I love it.
All right.
Thanks for sharing. It went deep. A bit longer than normal, but I think
Yeah.
this was required. I
Look, we
think
might cut
people
this
will have
up.
an hour. If not,
We might cut it up into 2 parts and make you
yeah,
kind of sweat over it. We'll see. But if we've felt comfortable enough to put it into one long one, then thanks for listening right to the end. Otherwise, we might spare you the longer episode and give you a bit of a 2-part one of this. But yeah, it's been great. It's been really good to just talk about it, to be honest, especially with you, Mario.
always a pleasure, Tim. Good. Thanks, people. Again, thanks for all the donations, and it makes us really happy, I have to say. And it'll make little kids and families that have no other option than just kind of probably wait every day and hope, even happy.
Absolutely. All righty. Peace out.
Cheers. Peace out.
Thanks for tuning in to the One Percenters podcast. That's a wrap for another episode. And we're proud to be recording from Australia on Kombumerri and Gadigal country. And we honour the traditions and knowledge of the First Nations people and pay our respects to elders, past and present. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. We want to hear from you, the questions or topics you would like us to cover, and you can easily do that in the Spotify app. And for those of you that are ready to discover your peak performance edge today, just head on over to our website. That is top.coach. That's TOPP.coach. And start unlocking your unlimited potential with us today. We would love to work with you. And that's it for now. Until next time, what are you waiting for?